Oh, like spying, you say. Maybe you could cover it with something. Why? She's arcing an eyebrow at you. You're just going to give me a foot rub, Heaney. She says, smirking as she flops her other shoe off. I know you've been holed up in your room for the last few days, but keep it in your pants. What does that even mean? She laughs at her own joke. I don't get it. Just give me a foot rub. Oh, to cover that up. So okay, because it's a lesbian joke. Fucking hell. She laughs at her own joke. You don't like that scrying stone there. The real Hades is somewhere elsewhere, probably in her chambers, and Ghost might know it. You consider the sword at the feet of Regnal's corpse. Maybe I could handle her the old-fashioned way. Can you use the stone to spy on things, or is it just for Ghost? You ask, clasping your hands behind your back as you leisurely pace back and forth. I can use it, she says. Can you spy on Ghost? You ask, not in him, she says. He's got wards against that. Oh, you say, sounding disappointed. I suppose it's a bit beyond us to scry. What are you talking about? You told me you can scry. Anyways, I said I can use it, says Maya, getting to her feet. Walking down the stairs. What do you want to see? Reginald, you say. Want to see how he fares from his draining. Not him either, says Maya, shaking her head. He will be near Ghost, and Ghost will know if I try to scry near him. Scry on the ledge, you say. Are you trying to get me killed? She asks, giving you a severe look over her shoulder. Somewhere outside the temple, then, you say. Let's see how the battle fares. I don't have any focus out there. She says as she approaches the scrying stone. Her back is completely to you now. You creep backward up the dais to get closer up the sword, still facing Maya. From here, you notice a spiral stairway curving around a pillar. The stairway appears to end on a platform above. What's up there? Maya looks up at you and then over the platform. You smile and put your hands behind your back, then strolling on the dais, turning so that your empty hand are visible. A teleportation circle, says Maya, looking at you. Then up the platform. Pretty much the whole place is locked down except for those spots if you have the key. As she turns back to the stone, you quickly snatch Reginald's sword off the floor and turn to face her, keeping the weapon behind your back. She looks back at you. You sure know a lot about how everything works around here, you say, shaking your head in wonder. You would too if you start whining about The Walking Dead and come out from your room once in a while, she says. You've been strolling down the dais towards Maya while keeping your eyes roving about as though still taking wonders of the place. I can scry on the passerby nearby. I do it to keep an eye out for the enemies, she says. You saw the zombies that were tied to stuff. You nod, keeping your face earnest like you're an intense student. Also, that was someone who sneaked in somehow. How did they do that? I took care from them. Now I can scry on each one. I tried for different hair colors so I could keep track, she says, holding up a clump of hair. This is a blondie. He's pretty close to your room. What enemies are you afraid of, you say? Well, for starters, there's that guy I told you about running around here somewhere, unless he got caught, says Maya. I don't know how he got through the barrier without permission, but I sure hope they don't blame me. I can't imagine it's your fault. I heard the barrier is working flawlessly, you said. You heard that? She says, hopefully. She turns completely to you. I'm actually afraid that was why you were sent. Well, anyway. You give her a most disarming smile. Show me a scry. It's clever that you did with the tethered zombie. I would have never guessed that's why they were tied up. She turns up her posture even more, turns back to the scrying stone. She brushes the clump of the blonde hair over the stone, and a glowing within brightens, clouds for a moment, and then appears, vaguely revealing a zombie. It's vaguely familiar. The overhead view extends several meters around the zombie. So are we gonna like chop her head off, or are we gonna strike her to make her unconscious or something? Nice placement, you say. I can see most of the hall. Thanks, she says in a low voice as she nods, her back still to you as she gazes into the wall. Now it comes to you. You're nearly in range. With her back to you, you could strike to kill, an old-fashioned backstab. You could strike her in the head, the flat of your blade, hope to knock her out. I think we should knock her out. I don't want to fucking kill someone. The Nucleus would be protecting. I'd rather not go fuck with him even more than I already have. Like, we are already pissing off Nerol to some extent, and not Ghost as well. Fucking hell. And I don't really want to trouble Ghost. He was the character we played as in the first game, and he was a great character, and I really liked him, and his life was very much troubled. Like, I wouldn't say it was as painful as Rooster's life, but it was definitely very mind-sucking and like botheringly annoying. And it was just plain like annoying. Most of the time it's just like he was just hurling through and just getting troubled over and over again. It was not direct pain for the most part. It was just fucked things. Like, I never in the entire series have really felt, except for the end, that I felt like, okay, now this is at peace. And even then the ending was abrupt, so it wasn't like too much at peace, and now we know that he was definitely not at peace, so I'd rather not give him even more trouble. So strike with the flat of your blade. She might have a shield on her, now think about it. Quickly you creep in, your blade clocked cloak from the back for the swing. Not much to see right now, and she says, no sign of that guy, and Hades' body has less strength than your native one, so you clutch the sword with both hands as you swing for her head. The flat of your blade clanks against the crown. The sword jolts unnaturally in your hand as your blade is knocked back. You expected the crown to offer a little protection, but that was much more than that. This was magical. Maya staggers a step back but does not fall. Like Chris's too, she whirls around and shouts an arcane, whereas a bolt flies from her, striking you in the abdomen. Cold numbness creeps through you. You feel your life force drained. You lunge in. Maya tries to run. You drive the tip in, sinking the blade in between Maya's shoulder blades. She lets out a small cry, but your strike was true, right to the heart. She actually killed her. She slumps onto her face. Her legs crumpled. Her dark red blood pumping out around her. Just a girl, you think as you behold her small body. You pull your eyes away quickly. It makes you sick. Do not delay, says Egra. Destroy the ritual. And we just got to a fucking checkpoint. You leap up the dais several stairs at a time, blast them with a fireball, you say to Egra. No, use cold steel, says Egra. Now, the now familiar vibration fills you as you feel yourself swiftly transforming back to your normal body, wearing your awful clothes. At least you're stronger now. That will be handy for what you're about to do. Light washes over you from behind. Is it from the shining stone? You dare not look. You must focus. You must stay focused and work quickly. Yeah, probably checking in. Who's checking in? Fucking... Ghost must be checking on something. Light washes over you from behind. Is it from the sky? Yeah. First you sever the rotten arms of Reginald's corpse. Next you bring down the blade on Neryl's arm, severing it also. You kick the limbs away. For good measure, you cut Neryl's head off. Although it takes several strikes to do so. The sword you wield now is a reasonable blade, sharpened and well maintained in time. It is no match for the paladin weapon you left on the battlefield. You kick the head of the queen down the dais. This strikes you as unnecessary callous. However, you feel a slight glow of approval from Egra. Thankfully, there is no blood. You have seen enough of that as of late. Chop up Reginald's corpse more, and then drag the now headless Neryl away from the corpse of Reginald. The magic circle's glow begins to diminish and suddenly extinguishes. There you have it. You say, your champion conquers yet another quest. Something is not right, says Egra. The hair on your arm stand up as a humming sound permeates the air. You turn around and look towards the source of the hum. Up at the platform, suddenly two people are leaning over the short banister, peering down towards you. It's Reginald and the blonde woman in the armor that you remember Elizabeth causing Nerissa. You've seen her far from the battlefield, yet with her glowing green armor, she's unmistakably. Nerissa scans the scene swiftly and then holds up her empty gauntleted hand. We wish to speak to you, only to speak to you. We wish you no harm, only to speak to you. Take a step back. Your sword is the ready. Really, you blurred. Reginald yelled something in a strange language, perhaps the same one you heard from Hades and Maya speak, as he makes gesture and dramatic hand gestures, much of it involving waving his middle finger at you. Is he mad? Has he been drained so already? You wonder. Reginald, please, your old language he cannot understand, Nerissa says. Reginald shouts, takes a deep breath and shouts down at you. Why did you kill the girl? She was an evil witch or doing evil things, you say. Reginald looks over at the dais. By the gods, why did you mangle my corpse so? You're welcome, you call up to him. Does he mock me? He asks, turning to Nerissa. I'm Nerissa of Pelnor, and this is Reginald of Ring City. Who might you be? She shouts down in a voice that is accustomed to command. I'm Rooster, Hogsmiter, hero of Ring City. You call back, puffing up your chest. Hero, shouts Reginald in bewilderment. More like girl murderer and corpse defiler. Corpse defiler, you say. I saw this sport you made of undead near the river. Reginald glares at you. Now that was for training, and his words die out. He appears thoughtful. Turns to Nerissa and says, that's actually a good point. Did you realize that was what was happening here? You call up Reginald. Your soul was being drained. He crinkles his brow. Do I appear drained to you? Indeed he doesn't. His cheeks are a pink hue to them. You say he is in the prime of his youth, perhaps even before his prime, no older than Maya and Hades. It's a slow process, you call. You point down at Maya's corpse. You told me how your soul was slowly being crushed to power the barrier to the living. Nerissa and Reginald spare a glance at each other and share a grim smile before turning back to you. Don't you have other things to attend to? Your shield is down, you say. Defend your cursed temple to be overrun. That's what bothered me earlier, says Egra. I still feel the barrier is up. We ourselves had forgotten what fiction Ghost had given for this, says Nerissa, motioning at the chamber as a whole. Wait, no, but those are the bodies of Neryl and Reginald, not illusion, I think, you stammer. Yes, they are the real thing, shouts Reginald. You know, you could have simply moved the bodies away or smudged out the symbols of something. Spells are very brittle. We went through a lot of extra work. Please, Reg, it's only an old vessel, says Nerissa, but then she frowns at a light upon the severed head of Neryl, although I do think she will be displeased. If this isn't for the shield, what was the spell for, you ask? It wasn't a spell at all, says Reginald. Well, there was some minor light spells and a trigger spell, so we could know when it was disturbed. I can't remember what Ghost called it. He was more technical when he explained it. The magic is of nothing of consequence, says Narissa. Nucleus is more than capable of maintaining the barrier on his own. It was by his intellect and will that it holds. He needs no ritual. If he did, he would not have left it to Maya. I guessed as much. Narissa pauses for a moment. Yeah, I did find that weird that he left something important like that to a random chick from another world. Narissa pauses for a moment and then she continues. Her voice is lowered. You see, Ghost was humble enough to know even he could not foresee what enemies might seek him. Any defense, regardless of how carefully laid, will have weaknesses. So he created a false weakness as a distraction, a trap, says Reginald, with a tinge of pity in his voice. Although the girl was not supposed to die. You deceived, Reginald. You shot up at him. You were being drained right before Nuxius' eyes for power, the amusement and revenge of Nerul. And Nuxius journeyed into the abyss for Reginald, says Narissa. Even the will of a fallen goddess could not force the cleaving of such a friendship. Her beautiful voice is so earnest, reminding of Maiden Abyss. You have to work hard and risk your life to earn. You had to work hard and risk your life to earn this lie, and that's what makes it so easy to believe, says Reginald. He then nods down to the body of Maya, and Maya, she believed it too. She wasn't supposed to die, though. Didn't Nuxius shield her? As she thought she had been chosen for some great honor, yet she was nothing but a bait, you say. It was necessary, said Narissa. The greatest actors are aware. This was a whole fucking long-ass trap that fucking Nuxius set up. That is amazing. The greatest actor are unaware of the play. As Reginald said, we did not wish for her to die. We expected to detect our enemy earlier. At least her soul will end up somewhere better than it had been found before. Before Nuxius found her. It really is nothing but an elaborate trap. Why am I still alive? You say. We wanted to meet you, said Reginald. How did you get through the shield uninvited? There are godlings and demon lords that have failed to do so. Simple, you say. I died, walked in, and then was resurrected. Both of them stare down at you for a moment. The Reginald chuckles. That is a flaw. The dying pound sounds particularly easy to accomplish. Often the simplest plans are most brilliant, says Narissa, but that begs the question of the resurrection. That is no trivial spell. Divine will, you say with a wink, obviously, says Narissa. Or by means of great arcane power, yet you were among Nuxius' undead, so who cast the resurrection spell? Must have been one of the gods, you say with a shrug, one of the kinder, more gentle ones. Reginald chuckles. He is brave, I'll give him that. Brave is his choice in both words and clothing. Courage is admirable, but on this you wasted, says Narissa. We do not seek to do evil deeds, nor does Nuxius. Necromancy on an epic scale, what could possibly be evil about that? You said sarcastically. Nerul is diminished, but she is not gone. Her will cannot be suppressed by any mortal. She must find the one, or our Nuxius cannot be free. The one she seeks is near. When she finds him, her eyes mist over. Nerul will be satisfied, says Reginald. Ghost will be free of her, and so will the multiverse. That is a good for the worth of thousands of battle. Really, you say, after all these centuries of searching the multiverse, you think you're just going to find the Night Soul tonight or tomorrow and be done with it? All things end, says Narissa. Why not tonight? Just seems that the odds are against it, you say. I mean, that is true. Ghost is trying to find a better way rather than using brute force to scorch through the multiverse. This sounds like a lordom. Why are they even talking to us? Ghost is trying to find a better way rather than using brute force to scorch through the multiverse. He's enlisting the aid of other forces who also want Nerul satisfied. If it's just to find the one as Nerul's divine will demand, but by the way of the least suffering, says Narissa. The least suffering, you say? What's going on out there is horrible. A city burns. He did not ask for this battle. Indeed, he is bewildered by it, says Narissa. We came to Ring City to find what Nerul seeks, not by violence, but by carefully inquiry. This is all. It was not part of our plan. Planned or not, now that his undead slay all those before them, not only fiends, but also good people of the city, you say. It is their nature, says Narissa, her voice lowering. We seek to defeat our enemies and bring the souls back to be tasted. As I said, Nuxius did not start this conflict, but he would be a fool to not take advantage of it. Flareon of Bryson is here, and his soul shall walk through his temple gate and end this nightmare. You speak of a fairy tale, you call up to them. If you want a way to actually end this, find a way to drop the barrier. Is it not better that one man and his unholy union die instead of all these people, fused with goddess or not? There are powers outside that may slay him. Narissa, I heard you were once a cleric of Aletheia. Surely you know the Aletheia's own daughter is on the other side of that shield. Let her and the rest in. For what love you have of Nuxius, let him perish. Perhaps that will... then he will have peace. Though, no, absolutely not. He went through a lot. He needs proper peace. Fuck all this. I'm on the side of Nuxius all the fucking way. Narissa and Reginald are silent for a moment. Finally, Narissa shakes her head. Godlings and lords from hell and the abyss are no match for what Ghost has become. Besides, even if Nuxius were to die, Nerul cannot punish by violence, by wit, or even the will of the gods. Her hunger has gone unquenched for so long. It is now much of a part of a multiverse as the plane of existence we stand upon. It's worth a try, you say. Drop the shield. A good argument, champion, say Agra, her voice low in her mind. I doubt it will work, but truly inspired. They're silent, they look at each other and then back at you. From beyond the tightly shut double doors, you hear the muffled clanking of heavy boots along with rasping sound and something large being dragged across the floor. I'll ask again, says Agnar, who resurrected you? You had help, says Narisa. The undead cannot resurrect themselves, you sigh. They are unmoved by your argument, they will not see reason. It must have been Baisal, the goddess of lust, who brought me back, you say with a modest shrug. Obviously, she needs me alive for her pleasure, Hiram. Once you're dead, you can force the answers from you. We can force the answer from you, says Narisa, her eyes sad. Her eyes turning sad. I have been lent power to question the dead, and none can resist.